Welcome to Keto with Donna. I'm Donna. Join me in my keto/low carb lifestyle. See what I eat, what I cook, how I save some money, what I do spend my money on for good things, what I do when I go out. In today's video, we're going to be doing keto-friendly buns, hot dog buns and hamburger buns, because sometimes you just want something to hold. I got this recipe from Keto Veil, which I'm going to link in the description below. And in a few minutes, we'll get started. Join me, won't you? And these are the ingredients you're going to need in order to make these buns. We've got almond flour, which I'm going to sift. That's about 1 1/4 cup. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. 5 tablespoons of psyllium husk powder. Now, I got the whole psyllium husks, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do about that. No big deal. I got the apple cider vinegar, a cup of boiling water, which is not boiling yet, 3 egg whites, and some salt. And one note, I try to make recipes of items that you have around your house normally, and the whole psyllium husks may not be one. And it wasn't for me, and I waited a really long time before I finally got it. But now that I made this recipe, I definitely use it. So it is something to have in your low-carb keto pantry. So I had looked at several recipes, trying to decide whether I was going to get the whole psyllium husks or the ground psyllium husks. And I thought I had decided on the whole. And then when I wound up with this recipe, it said ground. No big deal. So I've got my trusty NutriBullet, a little cup, and what's called a milling blade. If you got a coffee grinder, that works just fine. The recipe is going to call for 5 tablespoons of ground psyllium husk powder. So I put a little less than half a cup in there. And it's already pretty small, so it doesn't take very much to grind it up. If you often wondered what that milling blade was for, hey, look at that. We've got now ground psyllium husk. So we can carry on now. That was a little extra step if you have whole on hand, but if you're going to buy it just for the recipe, get the ground. Okay, so I'm going to sift my almond flour. I keep it in the refrigerator, so sometimes it has little clumps, but still, it's just, I would do it even if I didn't keep it in the refrigerator. I just think it makes it just a little smoother, and you don't have to worry about clumps in whatever you're baking or cooking. So I'm doing 1 1/4 cup of the almond flour. I just put the cup in because I want to make sure I had enough. I was running low and thought I would not be able to make this recipe today till I hit up Walmart or Sam's Club. Yes, Sam's Club has a nice big 3-pound bag. Don't remember the price offhand. I got to check that again. I've only bought it there once, but that is the place to buy it. But if you just want to keep a pound around, depends on how much you use it. See, then you get those clumps in. You do make sure you get it all. And then look how beautiful that is. All right, we're going to do the dry ingredients first. I've got my beautiful almond flour here. I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. There we go. 2 of that. And your psyllium husk. It's better, if you're going to ground your own, it is better to just have a little bit extra so you're not in the middle of counting how many tablespoons you need and then running out. So this calls for 5 tablespoons for this recipe, which 1/4 cup is 4 tablespoons. So that'd be easier than counting out 5. So I have 1/4 cup and then a tablespoon. Okay, you can use a little spoon if you want to. And then just level it off. Make sure you're getting a full 1/4 cup. So there's my 1/4 cup. Okay, and then the sides aren't smooth, so I keep hitting these little grooves. And there's my tablespoon. So that is now 5 tablespoons of ground psyllium husk. I changed the bowl because I can't remember now if my medium bowl was going to be big enough for when I mix the wet ingredients, because there's a cup of water that goes in there. So to be on the safe side, I'm going to change to a little bit bigger bowl, and then also add a teaspoon of salt. And that way I'm feel a little more confident I'm not going to have a big mess on my hands. So that's going to go away. Okay, you need 3 egg whites. So there are my egg whites. And then I separated my yolks. I apparently had a little trouble breaking them a little bit. But I don't think I got hardly any in my egg whites. But I'm going to be making mayonnaise later. So you can think ahead of what you might use it for. This was my 2 egg yolks, which I'm going to use for mayonnaise. And this is my 1 egg yolk, and then I can just mix that in with an omelet or with scrambled eggs with 1 or 2 other eggs. So you're not wasting stuff. Another budgeting tip. Okay, to this, I'm going to add 1 cup of boiling water. There we go. So I had that simmering on the stove while I was getting other stuff together. So 1 cup of boiling water. Your 3 egg whites. And your, sorry, getting used to this angle, apple cider vinegar. There it goes again. Alrighty, 2 teaspoons. Always shake it up if you have the good apple cider vinegar. The Bragg's is the good one, because it's got the, what do they call it, the mother in there. So it's a little cloudy, so you want to mix that up. So there's 2. Alrighty, and we're going to mix that up with a hand mixer. Yeah, I think I'm glad I changed the bowl. So let's start off this recipe in a large bowl. Alright, so I got it mixed up in the bowl. The recipe says do not overmix, so it's got a couple little cracks and stuff, but that's going to be fine because you're going to be divvying that up anyway. And you could do on a greased cookie sheet to form the buns. On a greased cookie sheet, I'm just a big fan of parchment paper. It's just easier, but you are going to spray it with a little avocado oil or olive oil spray. Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm preheating the oven at 350 degrees. I've got kind of my sort of bowl, sort of looks. I like doing 6. This recipe says 4 to 8, depending on the size you want. This way, for me, it's easier to cut into 6s. Got kind of a pastry cutter here that works really well, especially if you're making like cookies or something, cutting that. So we got 6 pieces, and I'm going to start forming. Okay, for the hot dog buns, you want to just sort of roll it in between your fingers. Make it long. Starts coming apart, just kind of mush it together. This is kind of therapeutic. Till you get a basic cylinder shape. And I have a tendency to go a little too long. Sometimes then you got a whole bunch of bun at both ends of your hot dog. So depending on what hot dog or sausage or whatever you're going to use it for. See, this is the hot dogs I use, the uncured beef hot dogs. So it's going to be just a hair short. Hair too long. So this one I made, and I like this one. It's just about the right size. So that's going to be my hot dog bun. I'm going to do 2 hot dog buns and 4 hamburger buns for this batch. Okay, here are my buns all ready to go in the oven. I've got 2 hot dog buns, 4 hamburger buns. Of course, if you want the buns bigger, you can cut you can do 4 instead of 6. I like 6. Maybe I'll do 5 next time. You can add some sesame seeds. I did for 2 of my buns, toasted sesame seed bun. You can do poppy seed, which I'm not a big fan of, so I left that off. It does say to use moist hands when you're forming your buns, when you're messing with your buns. But I had gloves on just to make it easier for me, and I was going to put a little dab of olive oil on my hands. I didn't even need to do that. It came off fine. Now, if you have it on regular hands, maybe a little water or a little of the avocado oil will be just fine. So now I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven for about 50 to 60 minutes. So here's where the time comes in. Putting it together was real easy, but the time is just waiting for it to cook and cool. Okay, I was checking this batch at about 40 minutes, even though it says 50 to 60, just to check. I did want to mention also the recipe says to put it on a lower rack when you do put it in the oven. But it's just to tell by how you can tell it's done is the base of it, where this, I turned over, there's the top. Here's the base. If it sounds hollow, which I'm pretty sure it does. Well, I took 3 out and I just kept the other 3. Hey, it's a face. The other 3 I just put back in the oven for just about 5 more minutes just to be safe. So even this roll, because the roll feels very soft here. But I think that's probably done. I don't think 5 more minutes is going to kill it. But they do fluff up, but not out. So however size you want width-wise, that's the way it's going to be when you form them out. I did find that out. That's why I try to squish my hamburger buns a little bit more this time to cover a little bit more. I did a Chick-fil-A chicken I put on these buns, and I did a burger. So sometimes the buns look a little small. So if you want bigger ones, just make sure they're wider when you're patting them out, right before you put them in the oven. Wait a couple more minutes for my other 3. And the great thing about making a batch, so you get about 6, is that you can freeze them. So you do it on a day off. Like I said, there's a little bit of cooking time, but it's so easy to put together. You just have a little bit of the cooking time. You put it in the bag in the freezer, in a Ziploc bag, and whenever you want a bun, you just take it out. Actually, I think I've even taken it out only an hour or so before when I was coming home with the Chick-fil-A on that video that I decided to swap out the buns. I had my husband take it out when I was at the drive-thru, and by the time I got home and got settled, my bun was all ready to go. And of course you can toast it as well, but I like it just plain. But the good thing is it does freeze well. And then you've got it for, I don't know, next month if you want, if you don't have buns every day, obviously. And one use of these hot dog buns, obviously for hot dogs, but here's a nice Italian sausage with some beautiful sauteed peppers and onions with a little mustard. Look at that, fits just nice. A little hair extra on the ends. I got myself some pork rinds for my little side. I love this flavor and I love this brand. Jalapeno cheddar, it's the 4505 brand. Those are always good, nice and light and crispy. And my daily electrolyte drink. It's perfect keto. Today is watermelon. Kind of is a sunny summer day, so that sounds like good. So these buns come in real handy for all sorts of meals. Buns holding up to all those fixings on the burger. So I got my cheese, bacon, jalapenos, and you got your lettuce, your tomato, your onions, pickles. Well, when I was getting ready to put these in the freezer, I noticed I had an old bag of these keto-friendly buns from Love and Fresh that I'm pretty sure I got at Aldi. And it's kind of been in the back of the freezer since I started making the new ones. And I find it easy to do. So this is the Love and Fresh version. 0 guilt, they say, 2 grams net carbs, and still good in a pinch. But looking at the back, second ingredient, modified wheat starch, and it has soybean oil in it. So it's got the wheat that most people don't want when you're on this lifestyle, especially if you're concerned about your blood sugar. And it's good in a pinch, but this is better. It's got 21 grams of carbs with 19 fiber. Sure, it's only 2 gram net carbs, which if that's what you're looking at, that's fine. But there's a lot of fiber. So, but like fiber added in to be able to make the net carb go down versus fiber from the psyllium husk only. Okay, making your own keto buns though. You can see my little breakdown here on my carb manager that one of these buns, if you do 6 for a batch, has 168 calories, has 12 grams of total carbs, if you're looking at that, minus 8 grams of real fiber, and leaving us with 3 grams of net carbs. And you know what the ingredients are. Well, there you have it. The keto buns that I like to make on a regular basis. And you can make hot dog or hamburger buns. They're really nice and soft. They're fluffy, but they're sturdy. They hold up well. Like I said, I did a chili dog with mine and it didn't fall apart. I do a nice thick burger and bacon and cheese and avocado and just a whole bunch of stuff on there. Then you don't have to worry about cutting up and trying to get in every bite. Well, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing. Until next time, it's Kinda Keto with Donna. Bye.